This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by SmallCapVoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.
You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Welcome one, welcome all to this online business briefing brought to you by SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith. And we're lucky enough to be joined by, for the very first time, AmbiCom Holdings Incorporated. They're traded on the OTCQB exchange under the ticker symbol ABHI. Now, we're also joined by two members of the management team. We're going to be speaking to John Huang. He's the CEO of the company, and also Kevin Cornell, the newly appointed president of AmbiCom. First, let's say hello to John. John, how are you doing today?
Fine. How about you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for both of you taking time out of your schedule to speak with us here today. And Kevin, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Stuart.
Well, thank you for your time. I'm sure the shareholders will be excited to hear from the new president in this audio interview. But for those who may not be familiar with the company, if you would, Mr. Wong, tell us a little bit about the business model and market for the company.
Well, AmbiCom has been incorporated since 97. We went through many different type of trends with the market, and company finally took a direction of selling the products medical device area, where our customers are like Roche Medical, Siemens, CareFusion, Draper, Zoll Medical, mostly very reputable companies worldwide, where we're providing a Wi-Fi solution for medical devices. And we've been shipping out more than 1 million pieces since year 2007. And this is now, after we are still supporting this business model, but growth is very minimum because, there are that many medical device, not like a consumer product line. So, and Kevin and I got together about 6 months ago, and we were, negotiating and determine if there's going to be a synergy between two companies. And then we figured out that this is a good marriage where, with our network and his technology and his know-how, their know-how, I think could be a good synergy. So I think it was a good asset purchase agreement that we have made.
Well, and listeners, you can read more about that asset purchase agreement in the press release dated May 14th. Well, thank you for that summation. John, Kevin, the newly appointed president, let's kick it to you right now, and let's hear your insight into this company's business model now.
Well, our background is at Veloxum. We started as a consulting company in 2007, and our goal was to try and increase the performance of servers, desktops, basically enterprise infrastructure, things that make things go faster. We just found that a lot of companies were not getting the yield that they wanted out of their infrastructure. In fact, they're getting less than 20% of the transaction load that a system should be able to do. So we started off as a consulting company initially. That was in 2007, 2008. And then in 2009, we became a C corporation, and we productized the toolkit that we were using to do those optimizations. And we found that there was a much wider marketplace than we thought initially. We thought it was a good thing to do and a good thing to have. Increase the efficiencies, make servers run faster, make desktops run faster, make the user experience that much more positive. positive. But when we saw the size of the market, we found that as a small company, you can only grow so fast. So we started looking around for two things. We started looking for investments so we could expand, but more importantly, a more secure home, people that could take our company and really allow us to expand, not just with investments, but you need the right type of people, the right type of connections, and we wanted more doors to be open. And we found that in AmbiCom and found them, quite frankly, in John here. The company is technical. They understand the product. They have connections to the type of people that we need to validate what we do and open those doors. And so far, in the last 6 months, all of those points have been very, very positive to us. Actually, a lot better than I had ever hoped. So we're very happy to find a home within AmbiCom, and we think that the marriage of our technology into their infrastructure, their connections, and how they do business is going to be very, very positive.
Well, gentlemen, thank you both for your input there. Now let's learn a little bit more about each of our guests and as well as another key member of the management team. But, John, let's start with you. You're the chairman and CEO. Let's get a little bit about your background.
Well, I've been doing basically high-tech industry for more than 28 years. That consists of semiconductor to consumer electronics to PC. Since 1985, I was Vice President of Samsung America, Inc., where I started a Samsung 12-inch detail monochrome monitor business. First ever Samsung branded product worldwide. And that's where Samsung initially started the branding of Samsung brand. And since then, I was involved in, after 93 to 97, a company called ABHI, which was doing a fiber optics, that was also reverse merge, where company stock trading at 6 cents and it went up to $144 in 97 because I think timing was right. And I got out and started doing a different type of advisor role. And then I was involved with the AmbiCom 2006, which I took over 2010, and they restructured it, and that's where we are right now. And Kevin's going to do his own.
Go ahead, Kevin. Let's hear about your background then.
Let's see. I've been in the business since the business started. I actually began in the 1970s with Burroughs Business Machines. And that was more of a hardware, software, applications, everything. That was my training, is working for them. Most recently, I mentioned about founding Veloxum. I founded that with my partner, Michael Lazar, back in 2007. Prior to that, we had a company called Symphonic I started with the NetIQ founders. And NetIQ is a product that monitors and manages large Windows systems, and it's also technology behind Microsoft SCOM. The goal with that company, named Symphonic, was to do optimization of servers. It was to take it to that next step, is to make it active, do the remediation. So I was there for about 3 years, and we finally said, we can't do that. And so we morphed it into a end-user performance monitoring tool. It is now called EdSite for Citrix. Prior to that, I ran the network tools division for a fiber optics company called Finisar, and we did fiber channel analyzers, created a product called the XGig. And the XGig became the definitive product for people building large storage systems. So if you were, designing and building them like a Brocade or a Hewlett-Packard or an EMC, you used our analyzers. Took that market share from the largest, about a 52% market share. We were the largest one of 7 vendors. And 18 months later, after the release of the XGig, we were the only vendor. So we did some market, actually got a Frost & Sullivan Award for market dominance. And then prior to that, I ran Borland, Americas region. I took over in Borland actually started in Canada, and then Latin America, and then created the Americas region, which is North and South America. Prior to my joining the company, it had a pretty bumpy time. This is back in the 90s, and had fallen on some hard times. From the day I took over the Americas region, it started 20 consecutive quarters of profitability, nothing less than $5 million profit per quarter. And actually in 2000, when I took over the U.S., we became the highest performing stock in the Silicon Valley. If you remember, there was a bad, bumpy time going on back then, and our stock went from $3 and topped out at 18 in that downturn. And prior to that, I've got a background working for large companies, such as I was vice president of Oracle, and small companies. I started a small server company after leaving MIPS throughout the 90s in Canada. So I've got a large background in servers and how to make servers run and how you use them all the way up to the application layer.
Very good. Now, you mentioned Michael Lazar, the Chief Technical Officer for the company. Can you talk to us a little bit about his background? Go ahead, Kevin.
Michael's a very technical individual, and his background comes from the technical side. And the design of the product is Michael's. It came out of his creative mind. Prior to starting Veloxum with myself, he was vice president of a company called Network Physics. And the Network Physics did a protocol analyzer mainly for wide area networks. He was vice president of special projects for them, and under that venue, he designed and built a voice over IP analyzer. That product is now one of the biggest selling products that OpNet has, after OpNet acquired Network Physics. So that did a wide area network for codecs and took a look at how voice over IP works and managed that process. Prior to that, he was working for a number of different startups, a number of different companies, and one was Spirion. If anyone knows what Spirion does, they do performance management. Large customers like Cisco use them in their labs to stress test network systems and make sure that they're running properly. And he was former technical director of Telos, which was, again, an infrastructure overhaul company, and did some very large infrastructures and design and maintain them. So his background is very technical, and his background is in analyzing from a network point of view and from a product point of view how to make things go faster.
Well, now let's go ahead and learn more about the company and its history. Let's go and look back on just the year 2013, John. If you could talk to us about what the company accomplished in 2013, John.
Well, the company's fiscal year starts from August 1st, calendar year, to July 31st closing, so it's a little bit different. But anyway, in the year 2013, we received approximately $2 million plus orders from major companies, well, 2 plus more. And we have other orders in which we didn't do press release or anything. But we are getting orders from major companies, like I mentioned to you before, Roche, Dole, Draeger Medical, so Siemens, and Philips. So basically, all these guys are our customers, and they trust AmbiCom's product for their, key ingredient of their medical devices. So, our growth increased, revenue increased close to 70% revenue, and the profit increased about 150%. And net income was increased from previous year, 2012, 157%. And our asset increased about 40%. And then right now, what we're looking at is direction, like I say, the minimum growth for medical device, because not much devices out, we can incorporate our Wi-Fi solution. So hopefully with this Veloxum business model, which is going to be, say, almost similar but better, which means a recurring revenue plus the licensing revenue. So we're looking forward for this business model.
Very good. Well, now let's talk to you once again, Kevin. Can you give us a little bit about the outlook for the company?
Excellent. I don't want to say too much because I'm quite excited. It's only my first week, but what I've seen happen this week is makes me happy. I have to tell you that. The markets that we're looking to get into, we've been traditionally in enterprise and selling to very large companies, Deutsche Banks, Watermarks, Colgate, IBM, et cetera, Microsoft. And we're going to continue to do that, but we're also addressing the mid-scale marketplace through a alignment with a company called Kaseya, and that's to sell to managed service providers. Managed service provider is kind of like the geeks in cars type of thing. They help medium-sized businesses, doctors, dentists, lawyers, to go and manage their internal systems. Well, ours makes them run a lot better. And a third market that we're looking at is PC marketplace. Home users. Everybody complains about the performance of their laptop. We can fix that. So, those three markets for us, if we get the right partners in there, just, wonderful, and the users in there can really start to benefit from now having systems that are able to do and perform like they think they should.
Well, we talked a bit about it in our introduction, and we've also touched on it several different times throughout this audio interview, but let's drill down deeper into some of the recent news. Talk to me about AmbiCom Holdings signs asset purchase agreement with Leader in IT optimization. Well, that's the one that brought you on the team, Kevin. John and Kevin, whoever wants to take this one, let's talk more about this press release.
Well, let me begin. This is John again. Begin by, this is technology. I think with the software solution is the first or only out there as we see. And by trying to market this product, we have to educate the consumer or customers, which we're doing right now. And I'm very excited right now. I don't know if I could discuss this thing, but we are in discussion with the major companies in Korea, India, and also big financial institution in U.S. And also, as Kevin mentioned, we're doing a joint development with the PC marketplace. So we're so excited, and we have a minimum staff right now, but we're very busy with the new projects going, which I see is within the next 30 days or 90 days, 30 to 90 days, we're going to start seeing some major development with the revenue. And Kevin could add more to the current development.
Go ahead, Kevin.
So let me explain what we do, and that will define the size of the market. That's probably the best way of looking at it. So it's been acquired by AmbiCom, and that means our intellectual property and our patents have rolled into the assets of AmbiCom. We have a product that automates the process of evaluating and remediating performance issues on anything with an operating system. Anything with an operating system, all the way down to the handheld devices, all the way up to the largest computers that you can buy. And it does so very, very quickly. It works, it's installed, it's been certified by IBM, by Microsoft, by Citrix, by large companies. So it's been validated, and it's patented, and the patent has been issued. So we have a secure intellectual property, and it's very unique. If you take a look at this, if you're a very, very sharp computer person, and you want to sit down on a server or on your laptop, and you want to say, based upon my workload and based upon the assets that I've got, the memory, the disk, the I/O, the network connections and everything else, based upon what I want to do, I'm going to tune that laptop. You can come to the same conclusions that we come to and tune it to the same performance levels. If you have unlimited time, if you have unlimited resources and unlimited knowledge. And it will probably take you 2 to 3 days to get there. Or you can put our agent on it, and it'll be done in 20 seconds. That's the value proposition. And it works, and it's something that can benefit everyone that has a device with an operating system on it.
Also, let me add by saying, this could also cure environmental issue, because there are so many servers or PCs going out without, getting fully utilized by throwing it away. While using our solution, Bloxham solution, would actually save the energy, when it's a power consumption, and also environmental, garbage. So this is also a big.
Well, John, back to you. There's a lot of information in this press release, as well as information about the revenue growth for the company over the next 12 months. Let's talk a little bit more about that and get the CEO's insight into what this press release talks about in terms of the revenue guidance it provides. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, first of all, as of a press release this week, we are projecting from today to next 12 months going forward, we're looking at $5 to $10 million potential revenue growth. And it could be more. And as Kevin stated, that our market size, if we capture 1% of the market size, we could get up to $18 million. So that's that phrase that I would like to clarify.
Very good. Well, it's a good point to always point out the actual market size, and that, sometimes I say if you gather up even the crumbs on this table, you can actually have a very, very successful company. And I think that's a good job that Kevin did in pointing out in his quote in this press release. Well, listeners, as I've pointed out several times, we're speaking to AmbiCom Holdings Incorporated, traded under the ticker symbol ABHI. If you'd like to learn more about this company, and I think you should, go visit AmbiCom.com. That's AMBICOM.com. Investor relations for the company, J.J. Huang at AmbiCom Holdings, can be reached at 408-321-0822, extension 301, and also Tom Nelson of Tennant Associates, LLC, at area code 480-326-8577. Well, now I'd like to thank my guests for coming on and providing their personal insight into the company. John Wong, thank you for your time here today.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
And Kevin, thank you for your time. Newly appointed president of the company, Kevin Cornell, thank you for your time here today.
Thank you, Stuart.
All right, for John Wong and Kevin Cornell, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com.